For a reason I don't play yet.
Alrighty. So here we go. This is I think session 49 of Maska Harliototep. You guys are in Australia trying to track down a lost city somewhere in the Great Sandy Desert, where you believe cultists are doing cultish things. You are in the tiny little kind of like frontier town of Darwin, where you have investigated the Randolph Shipping Company, broke in, found some strange things in some boxes, including a wooden effigy, wooden statue of some unfathomable beast, and a strange metallic device that looks like it might be a telescope or a microscope or some sort of things with like tubes and lenses and all
Didn't
that
we
sort of
discover
stuff.
it was like a sextant?
Might be a sextant. You're not really sure. It is a device made of metal with tubes and glass. But you decided to take that and the effigy and burn the effigy at the beach, which
Which was an oopsie moment.
which seemed to draw the attention of some sort of like human fish hybrid type creatures
It may have been a mistake.
that pulled themselves out of the water, seeming intent on getting the effigy. Shots were fired. Many shots were fired. People were attacked with tridents. Evelyn tried in desperation to cast a spell, and things went very poorly. As she reached out, and her eyes kind of glazed over, and her hand kind of started to glow with a greenish eldritch energy. As she reached out that glowing hand, cracks started to appear in the fabric of reality itself. Before Eugene managed to kind of like snap her out of her reverie. Gary, as soon as the creature started coming out of the water, is like, you know what? I've had enough. Today's been a day. And Gary is like, half a mile down the beach. Here's the gunshots. Just keeps right on trucking. But
The wisest of us all.
the wisest of you all. But as we pick up, you guys are on the beach. The creatures have gone back into the water. They did leave their dead, but any of the creatures that were wounded and unconscious, they dragged back with them. Miles has acquired one of their tridents, and Evelyn has basically just had the the brief meeting of minds with something unfathomable out there, and Eugene has kind of like called her back to the real world. I think that's where we will pick things up.
On the beach, though. We are still on the beach. We didn't manage to go home yet, right?
Nope, still on the beach. Evelyn has just come out of her
Episode.
special place.
She came to her senses and she collapsed.
Correct. So we will turn it over to you guys.
I'm curled up on the beach, getting sand in uncomfortable places. Just pretty
I'm
much
look-
anywhere, really.
I'm looking around to see if this whole attack generated any interest or witnesses or people coming to investigate.
There's a couple people that are kind of looking in your general direction, but honestly, Darwin is the sort of place where, if two people,
Gunshot on the beach is called it Tuesday.
yeah, I mean, it's not super
Don't
common,
ask myself.
but I mean, people heard a Tommy gun go off and they're like, not my problem. They figure either the person with the Tommy gun brought a bunch of trouble on themselves and died, or the person with the Tommy gun is a bunch of trouble and they don't want a part of it.
All of that is fair. I'm just going to say that Alvin is afraid of talking first because he doesn't know what's going to come out of his mouth.
Well, Chris, if this is not attracting attention, my first concern is no witnesses, no bodies. So I'm going to start trying to drag the bodies back into the water.
Okay.
Chris, can I help him do that only because we have seen things come back to life? So I'm like, overwatching is probably too much technical of a term, but I want to make sure that he doesn't get surprised by something that's not totally dead.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, between the two of you, the bodies are like they basically kind of look like for the players, almost like the creature from the Black Lagoon, that sort of like fishman sort of thing, or the creature from the Shape of Water, for a more recent reference. Their skin is very rubbery, and kind of slimy to the touch. But seeing as how they are dead now and no longer a threat, it's like handling fish. I mean, it's a little bit gross feeling, but it's not, sanity inducing.
And their unalived list means that we don't need to roll new Cthulhu mythos on them, right?
Correct. And you can, they're fairly heavy. Like as you, this is, I mean, you guys are actually kind of close to them as you're working with them. They are quite muscular. Probably as a result of the pressures underneath the water wherever they happen to live. You're pretty sure you would
Chris,
not want to get its claws on you.
Chris, other than the weapons they had, they don't carry ornaments, any kind of like necklaces or anything like that. I'm not looking to grab one. I just want to understand if these are rabid fish folk or is this a civilization, because my character doesn't know better.
No sign of anything. No clothing. No adornments. There is what probably appears to be there's scars that are obviously from combat, and then there's scars that are more deliberately placed in patterns, like ritual scarification. But no accoutrement other than their tridents.
Right. So that generally means we won't be accosted by a fish lover girlfriend who's going to attack us because we killed their boyfriend. Okay, great.
That might still happen.
I mean, as far as Alvin is concerned, there's not a lot of markings of civilization on these people. So if things die, things die. I mean, he's not like, and he's less prone to think of them as people than as things, because it has easier repercussions on his conscience about that.
So are they more scaly like a reptile, like a crocodile, or are they more like frog-like?
More scaly, like fish, like very kind of like very fine scales, as opposed to like a solid piece of scale like you would find on an alligator.
I want to
Too
put them
much?
out as far away from shore as possible. Hopefully any water, currents, whatever will take them out instead of bring them back.
Gotcha. Yeah. You can do that fairly easily. And I mean, they're basically dead weight, and they don't seem to have the same sort of natural buoyancy that a human body does. So once you get them, up to the point where it's like the water is chest deep on Miles, it's starting to become a struggle to kind of drag them through the water.
And then I become mindful of alligators or crocodiles and I get out because I forget what Australia has. I think it's crocodiles.
And crocodiles.
I'm on Overwatch. I got your back.
Okay.
Mostly for spear wielding bad guys, but yes, I'm on Overwatch.
And Eugene, what are you up to?
I'm trying
Can
to
anyone
keep
hear him?
Evelyn calm. I'm still trying to keep Evelyn calm and see if I can help her get back to reality. She hasn't spoken yet, so still tentative on back to reality.
And Evelyn's just gonna laying there on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
If she fell on the ground or something like that.
Yeah, I think she is. She's unresponsive, but there's no more cracks in reality, and her hand isn't glowing anymore.
If she fell on the ground, it'd be help her up. I'll try to, so I can get her to safety.
Yeah, Evelyn's just kind of staring into nothing. She's non-responsive. Just kind of a limp noodle.
Chris, once we're finished with the bodies, I'm just going to leave that in brackets. Tell us when we come back.
Yep.
Because it's going to take longer than their basic interaction, I guess.
Yep.
So the guys are dragging the bodies into the water?
They are.
Okay.
Eugene's in the process of trying to help Evelyn get to her feet.
Things gonna be fine, Miss Collins. Let me bring you back to your room. Very mental institution caretaker.
Yeah, she doesn't offer any help at all.
Like, is she dead weight or
Pretty
just
much.
following movements? Okay. So she's not
No,
following
she's
leads, she's dead weight.
yeah. Yeah.
Eugene is very polite, but probably strong enough to take her up if needed be.
Yes, between his size and his strength, he can easily kind of scoop Evelyn up.
Is there a Chris Isaac song just playing in the background?
Maybe it's like the Tenacious D cover. All right, Gary, where is Gary running to? Since he wasn't actually running out of his mind with fear, he does have control.
Well, when I hear the guns, probably stop and feel guilty. And when I hear the machine gun, I feel angry at myself and at them because I thought they should have followed suit. And probably a while after the all of the noises are gone, he'll slowly go back, but very, very slowly because he doesn't know what he will tell there.
You mean you don't know who won?
And no, I'm pretty sure that you kind of won because I seen what you can do with that Temigun of yours. But I'm like scared and mad at that fucking situation, and I almost been killed like 2 weeks ago again. I'm like not feeling great about any of this.
Right. So we'll say by the time Eugene kind of gets Evelyn kind of like scooped up. And Evelyn, I mean, you're aware of what's happening. You're just processing. Alvin and Miles, I think there was only 3 that were killed. So between the 2 of you, you guys can easily kind of get the bodies off the shore, and the tide will take them away, or the crocodiles. And you guys can basically start to head back to wherever you'd like to head to as Gary is kind of coming back to the group.
Do I ask how's she doing? That's a Eugene question, I guess.
She came down, but she doesn't seem to be responding. I was hoping that maybe we could get her back to bed. Probably gonna be full of nightmare, but
Can you tell if
if I
she's
can,
still there?
I mean, the eye moves, but that's about it. It's, I think she's mostly
Who's
shocked.
our resident psychologist? I'm asking out of character. Like, who has
It's
that?
probably me. It's probably
Miles
me.
has a friend. Or Miles has a hireling with us.
I have
Closest
somebody on
second,
retainer.
closest second that we can would be
And we get her to the person on retainer and see if she's he pauses just like I did, says okay. Obviously she's not okay, but let's see if she's okay, all things considered.
Yeah, Eugene is definitely strong enough to kind of carry Evelyn around.
Chris, I take a look at the fire pit that we made. Is everything destroyed in there?
Yes, the thing has definitely burnt.
All right. I carefully motion for people to stow away their weapons. I stow away, Alvin stows away his, and I ask Miles, where is your psychologist friend staying?
I assume he's staying in the same hotel as us. So,
Yep.
Go there.
by the way, in any of my discussions with this gentleman, I have left things sufficiently vague so as not to risk damaging him. So, if we're going to try to explain this away, we need to come up with something plausible, shall we say.
Your guess is as good as mine as what's plausible. Right now, I just want to know if she's okay. I don't know if that requires any information. You can say she saw something she thought was horrible, or we found her this way, and I just want to know if she's there.
All right.
Because Chris, every indication is that she's right now she's not, right?
I imagine.
Outwards indication.
Yeah, I mean, she's not catatonic. She's I mean, probably involuntarily reacting to outside stimulus, but she doesn't appear to be consciously interacting with anything.
And Alvin thinks to himself, well, we've seen worse, but we've definitely seen better. Does anyone want to do anything or say anything or interact anyway before we get to the psychologist or back to the hotel?
Eugene is keeping an eye out for Gary, but his best bet is he won't be able to find him back at the hotel.
Gary just joined the group silently.
Right. Yeah, you guys get back to your hotel. I mean, there are some people that kind of give you the side eye as you're walking. Carrying this unconscious woman. But you guys,
Conscious, not moving. She's not unconscious.
yeah.
Nope.
But you guys have been in town long enough for people to recognize that she is with you. So they're basically just like, can't handle her alcohol sort of thing. People here in Darwin are very, very good at going, this is my business, this is not.
Apparently.
But yes, you guys can take her back to the hotel. I mean, it is well after midnight by this point, so your on-call doctor is sound asleep.
Chris,
Yep.
I'm just, or excuse me, not Chris. It's more to Gary. When Gary joins the group, I give him a nod, like not necessarily a good job nod, but like I get it. But I'm not going to exchange words with him. A nod of understanding. How about that?
Yep. So yeah, you guys can get back to your hotel here in Darwin.
I'm fairly trained in psychology. Is there any other psychological first aid that could help right now?
That's basically what snapped Evelyn out of her madness, and she didn't break the world.
Yeah.
Is-
So I can conclude that whether sleep and then you can try to rise from there would be a good course of action.
Chris, I just want to confirm. None of us know that she came close to ending the world, right?
Well, you did see like little cracks in reality start to, form around her glowing green hand.
Right, but that could have been anything for us
That
uneducated, non-magical people.
that could have been anything.
Oh my god. Not comforting.
Just your run of the mill cracks in reality. As we say in Call of Cthulhu, Tuesday.
Wednesday.
And as you're walking, Miles, since you picked up the trident from the creature, it doesn't seem like it's particularly well made, but it does seem very, very, very functional.
Like it's a tool with intent. It has not been made like it has been thought of.
Yeah, and it's kind of crudely made. Like it's basically like it's made out of like basically primarily coral, maybe like bones of some fish, things or teeth, that sort of thing. But it does have that kind of man catcher look to it, where it's got like the three prongs, and then the two outer ones have like inward facing hooks.
Chris, did you say coral?
It's made out of some coral, yeah.
Like, is this thing? I mean, I have no. Alvin is not me, but you can't like cut coral like wood, right? So, was it grown?
Hard to say.
Okay.
So you're saying it looks functional, so like it does its job even though it doesn't look like it's great.
Exactly. But you guys,
Are there any interesting root markings or anything on it? Like suggest language or symbols or anything?
make a spot hidden roll.
Chris, is this one of those spot hidden rolls you want to fail?
All the spot hidden rolls and Cthulhu rolls you want to fail.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chris.
You don't see any, but the way it's constructed and everything, it would be hard to make out if there was anything.
I don't feel like spending 16 of my 17 luck to see if I see any.
I'd like to spend luck to go crazy.
But you guys get to the hotel. You guys are, for the most part, probably teetering at the point of exhaustion after the adrenaline and everything has worn off.
Bedtime.
Probably bedtime.
Chris, is it at all possible? Like, this is a shitty little town. The accommodations we have are, we call it a hotel, but my assumption is they're crude. Can I get a hot shower, or is that like a thing that needs to be asked for and like takes hours to repair?
Oh no, there's like hot and cold running water.
Okay, then Alvin takes a hot shower and then goes to bed.
Not a tremendous amount of water pressure, but it's warm.
It's colder than the beach air and sand to get everything out of everywhere.
Yes. Good. Is anybody else doing anything before rest? And I'm assuming that at least one person is staying up every couple of hours just to keep an eye on things.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we have a shift.
Gonna put Evelyn to bed, and while I'm not on shift duty, I'm probably gonna put a door, chair close to her door, so I can sleep in it. Just if something happens in the night, I'm close by.
All right. Evelyn.
Yes.
Why don't you give me a luck roll?
No. Because that's going to turn out badly. That's why I shouldn't give you a luck roll.
It's a good question. Can we decline when the GM says so?
I wish.
So, Evelyn, I mean, eventually you it's not so much you fall asleep as you just pass out.
Yep.
And in your dream, more accurately, when you quasi remember your dreams when you wake up in the morning, you seem to have like these vague recollections of kind of like looking down at your hand at some point and seeing it covered in like regalia, like rings and like the like I don't even know what they're called, but the things, they're not rings, but they like cover the entire like upper tip of your finger, made out of like gold.
Oh.
Finger gauntlets.
Sure. But basically, just wearing a great deal of finery,
Ceremonial jewelry.
It's just the sort of thing that you just kind of vaguely recall when you kind of like wake up in the morning.
Okay. And Eugene is where? Is he sitting? I know said he was like keeping guard overnight, but is he sitting inside the room or outside the room?
It's probably inside the room.
I don't know how our rooms are set up. If there's more than one room in the rooms.
Yeah, I imagine you've probably got 2 rooms.
The point is to be close by, but not like stare at Evelyn while she sleeps.
in an uncreepy way.
You mean like a suite where there are multiple bedrooms and one common room, like in the center?
Yep.
Kind of what I had in mind. So just outside a room, put a chair next to the door, and yeah, but not in the hallway.
Okay.
But everybody wakes up in the morning.
Chris, I have to say that the way you phrase things and your intonation is always like spot on. Like you say stuff like everybody wakes up in the morning as if it's all borderline a surprise.
It always makes me think of like playing the parlor game Werewolf.
Yes.
For like everybody closes their eyes for a bit. You choose
And
who's
everyone
gonna die.
survived.
It always reminds me of that. Like, and everyone wakes up in the morning. It's like, oh, good for me. I survived. Excellent.
That's right. It's when I say morning comes and I don't follow it up with and everybody wakes up.
I mean, we kind of bordered on that last night. Or last game.
We've
Yeah.
been to the horrifying dream realm. Like
Yeah. It's not good. Well, I say it was not good, and then like my character got rid of her lame leg, so it's kind of, it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
It's sweet and sour.
Yeah, kind of.
But yes, everybody does wake up. Everybody is refreshed. Everybody has put the horrifying events of the night behind them. Even Evelyn, like,
I wake up mostly okay.
You wake up and I mean, time has happened since the things happened, and it's it's like, okay, that was a thing that happened.
time has happened. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, Evelyn will she'll get changed and brush the sand out of her hair and out of her ears and wherever else it ended up.
Gary's probably almost drunk at that point. Yes, that early in the morning. Denial in a bottle.
She'll get changed and she'll come out into kind of the common area that we have for our suite.
Okay.
So Eugene is in a chair outside her door. Is Gary just kind of sprawled, half drunk on the couch, or?
No, Gary's playing with a deck of cards, and you see an empty bottle and another one that is just opened.
Okay.
He has the red eyes of a guy that did not sleep a lot and is probably drunk.
Just as an FYI, Alvin has had a long few days and he just got out of combat. He is going to, unless someone screams, he is sleeping in today. He is taking a half day.
Chris, do we have like a little area where we can make coffee and tea, or do we have to go down to the lobby for that?
You have to go down to the lobby for that.
Okay.
This place is not nearly that fancy.
You don't have electric kettles out nor Nespresso machines to make your coffee in room.
Yeah.
It's used to a thing.
Sucks. Primitive. Well, I'll just let you gentlemen rest,
Are
and
you
I'll
feeling
be
a bit?
back with coffee and tea, and
Are
maybe
you
some
feeling a bit better?
breakfast. Oh, are you awake? What?
Are you feeling a bit better this morning, Miss Hollis?
Yes. Uh, yes. Some odd dreams, but otherwise, as good as could be expected, I suppose. Perhaps better than could be expected.
You were well a bit lost in your thoughts and dreams yesterday. I was a bit worried.
Yes, well, we can talk about that when I've come back with caffeine and food.
Yes, let's get breakfast.
So Evelyn will go downstairs and get tea, coffee, some food to have brought up to the room.
All right. Yeah, they'll make those arrangements easily. Hello.
Where's Miles?
Uh, he has not woken up yet, but he's still alive. I've heard him snoring less than 2 minutes ago, so I think he's just
Oh,
very tired from the
he and Alvin are in the other bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't.
Um, unless Miles was woken up, I just assume he was still sleeping.
No, I'm awake. I'm just, I'll come out of the room
Okay.
eventually. So,
Okay.
But I have seen no proof of life yet.
Well, I mean, eventually the smell of coffee starts to permeate the room.
oh, coffee.
There is still one uncorrupted thing in this world, and it's coffee.
I have to remember to get a quantity of coffee before we go on our trip. Coffee and alcohol both.
To be disposed of in the desert.
Hmm. Yes, I finally realized that the location we're going to is where I need to take the. I hesitate to call them offerings. Payment, maybe.
Wasn't it just a bit northeast from where we were supposed to go? Close, but not exactly the same place.
No, I think it's going to be the same place.
Possible.
So last night was a bit of a mess. She'll be pouring coffee and tea for everyone as she says that.
Well, if those things were that upset that we were getting rid of that thing, I assumed it was a good thing we were getting rid of that.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I'm a little hazy on some of the details. Did they attack us first? Or were they trying to get the statue and we attacked them?
I must admit, I'm not clear on the orders of engagement.
It
The
was
moment that
dark.
the moment that Alvin set the things on fire, the water churned. Gary ran. I aimed my rifle at the bubbles, and when the creatures rose out of the water, they launched themselves at us, and I didn't give a chance for them to tackle me, so you can interpret how you will if. I mean, I shot first, but they seemed to be aggressive.
As
If I
she
were to
pushes,
surmise, sorry, if I were to surmise, I would say it was the decision to set the statue on fire that's basically lured them out. They were probably already in the water.
as Evelyn uh, sets a coffee cup in front of Gary, she'll lean in and whisper, "You made the right choice."
Without a doubt.
And she'll take the partially full bottle of alcohol and move it just a bit farther away from him.
I won't stop her. I'm just started a solitaire and I'm probably cheating.
That's amazing.
uh,
So we are
I
alive.
we are all alive, assuming Alvin is just asleep.
If he's dead, he's snoring a lot for that.
That would be the less
Seems
weird thing we've ever seen.
to seem a little tame by comparison.
Dying in your sleep
Odd,
seems like a mercy.
odd,
Depends.
but
Dying in
tame.
your dream might imply you die in the lens of the dream. It might be. It
Oh
might be
no,
something else.
that would be terrible. Maybe. Hard to tell. Um,
Yesterday seemed to have taken a toll on your uh, mental fortitude, if I can say it like that. Maybe we should check on that before. I know we have a train to take uh, tonight, but we should have a talk. Make sure you're solid.
yes. I I heard a voice last night while we were on the beach.
Somebody not there, I fear.
Yes. Or not there, but near enough to be heard, I suppose is the way to say it. Um, it said soon.
That's not obvious at all.
Hmm. It's not the first time I've heard something say that to me, though. So not sure soon to what or on what scale.
I'm not exactly sure which of the actor is moving on the checkerboard.
Sorry?
The whatever told you it soon was coming seemed to be lots of entity vying for their piece of the pie, control, and possibly a piece of your mind. So
That
not
makes
sure
it.
exactly.
That makes them kind of human.
Yeah. Oh, they do have
Chris,
much
just to
patience.
confirm, sorry, just to confirm, we have a train to take today, right?
Yes, you do.
I will not let you sleep through the train.
So Alvin wakes up and everyone's gone.
Can we agree on some basic stuff like no reading fucking books on the train?
uh, the thing is, traveling is really dull. It can be interesting, but the sea voyages we've had so far have been absolutely mind-numbingly boring without the books.
And you see, you know what? While we're doing something boring, nobody came close to die.
That's very true. And I can certainly see why you would not want anyone to read anything. That is valid and reasonable.
I'm not supposed to be the reasonable one. I'm drunk at 8 in the morning. God damn it.
As you can
Oh,
see,
but not usually.
we're short on reasonable.
Hmm.
Reasonable is snoring.
Yes. We'll.
I'm actually sad that I'm not the biggest fuck up around here.
Oh, there's still time.
Of
You might
course
get to
there is.
you might get to reclaim your throne.
Yes, mom will be so proud.
I don't know entirely what I did last night, but I feel like I need to apologize for whatever it was.
What, you did something?
You didn't do anything.
She lost control a bit, but she wasn't able to do anything out of it.
We've all lost control in different ways through this ordeal.
Through her word. were seldom said.
I'm just gonna take a bit of time on the train to make sure your mental fortitude is, well, not top notch, but a bit better. Can maybe resist those moments a bit better.
Well, why don't we plan for that for our undoubtedly dull train ride?
Yes.
We'll all have a chat with Miles's doctor, and other than that, we'll play cards.
Sounds like a plan.
It's a horrible pastime, says I while shuffling the deck.
It does look um a little less interesting than the cards I'm used to, I suppose. But the last time I tried to do a tarot reading or use a spirit board, things got uncomfortable.
You remember while that was the weirdest in your life?
I don't remember it as being weird. I remember it as being exciting back then. And then I went to Peru and found out what excitement really looked like. And then
We learned we
somehow.
shouldn't,
Hmm?
don't make seance in front of the book. But we learned that day.
No, there were no books nearby the last time I tried to reach out to the spirit world. But it was quite unpleasant after. So, as much as I'd love to, uh, I think I'll be keeping that sort of thing packed away and we'll just use Gary's cards instead.
Sounds more reasonable.
Again with that word.
Should I stop trying to be reasonable?
Oh no, it's just, I mean, it's kind of funny.
Not our strong suits. I think we're just trying to think it at this point.
I mean, there's no manual on how to save the world against horrible things without being completely nuts.
I mean, there are manuals. We've read them. Um,
Oh
but
yes, of course you did.
the
Those were the
They did not
manuals for
make
the opposite. Thank you very much.
the
they're
rest
the
of
manual
your
they're the manual to that you need to read to save the world while being nuts.
yes, that's more accurate, I
We haven't
think.
we haven't found the not free version of it. I know some people are allergic, but yes, we have.
I mean,
Oh,
at least there won't be any fire vampires, maybe.
maybe.
Ah, fuck those things.
But at least now we know they exist. So we'll have a better idea
How to
of,
not call them?
yes, hopefully. I mean,
I
we
need to
didn't
go buy a fire extinguisher, like now, before the train ride.
just
It's,
always
it's
keep a pitcher of water with you.
yeah, that's how I become a kooky old man with a bucket of water next to him at all times.
But we should get some shopping done. Make sure we have everything packed away.
That's a great idea. And Gary
The
just stands up and sit down again.
I'll start packing.
little unsteady.
I'm practicing for the next trip in the next boat trip.
Uh-huh. Maybe you should just concentrate on finishing the pot of coffee. And
Definitely. And
maybe
I
some
just
food.
spill a bit of whiskey in the coffee.
No, don't
He's gonna be able to sleep on the
eat.
train. No worries.
Eat something.
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, yes.
All right, so you guys are packing your stuff up and basically making arrangements to catch your train.
And getting
Yep.
I'm not sure
Oh,
how much coffee and alcohol I should have with me. Am I able to buy bottles of alcohol?
Well, you're not.
I can probably help with that.
Probably your bits are on the outside.
Alvin will wake up and then pack while everyone is packing. He'll be a little bit late in his packing, but he's very pleased that he managed to sleep in today. But he's been looking at Evelyn ever since.
Can't say I blame him, really.
Like, we don't, again, Chris, we don't know. Does she that she almost ended the world?
She knows she contacted something.
Like, how would you know? Only she knows what she could have done or what she ought.
Yeah, I know. I just want to know.
I mean,
I don't know that she knows.
That's the
she
point.
casted that spell on me at some point. I know. I'm very aware.
So basically, the only one who knows is Eugene. Even she doesn't know.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, you guys can spend a couple hours getting everything packed, getting laying in some bags of coffee and a case of booze and all that stuff in order to catch your train. Are you guys playing for first class, second class, or cattle?
What
What
are
is the
we,
boringest
peasants?
class?
Like you guys
We
have
would
more than enough money. It's just a question of how you want to travel.
we should
We're
probably have privacy.
we're not
So that
peasants.
well, not entirely. But we should have privacy so that A, we could all have the opportunity to speak with Miles's doctor. And so that we aren't as visible to any religiously inclined people that may take offense to us. I think we'll raise fewer questions if we have some privacy.
So you're for first class, just to confirm.
Yes.
Okay.
And there'll be more coffee and tea, most likely.
Sounds good to me. Our fire extinguisher thing.
Not for private ownership.
Okay, but on the train is where can we sit nearest to the access to the fire extinguishers?
Especially in first class. I mean, it's a steam powered train. They have fire extinguishers.
All right.
I cannot buy one. I'll need to steal one at some point.
But yeah, you guys
Not
can
from the
make all the necessary arrangements. Get your first class tickets. First class, oddly, first class from Darwin to Port Hedland is not sold out.
Oh, it's how surprising.
What a shock.
Yeah. Although as you guys are boarding, there are a couple people who are like, oh, First time?
This particular trip, yes.
I hope you brought a good book.
I brought people to play cards with, so it was the best I could do at short notice.
Okay. You're in for a treat.
Who's telling us this? A
Sounds
conductor?
like it.
No, just like random person getting on the train.
Chris, and this is Alvin here. Do they have tattoos? Any religious markings? Do they have a machete? Like, is this an ominous encounter? Just because he's getting more and more paranoid as the days go by.
No, nothing that you see unless you wanted to deliberately out of your way to check him.
On a scale
I
of
think-
1 to Chris, how scary is it?
I'll let it slide simply because it's just a character quirk. Like he's getting like more and
Yeah.
more. Like I have to justify his spot hidden of like 80 plus somehow.
All right. But as everybody gets on the train and you guys find your way to your cars and your doctor's with you. I can't remember if I named the doctor or not.
You did at some point.
Find my
I will see if I can find.
Was it something like Farid or something like that? But
I call him
That's
No,
Hot.
I think that was the guild. The head of the
Oh,
guild
yeah.
was that.
I don't know if I wrote it down because it was Miles's doctor.
So anyway, so
I might not have, but I'm going to go look.
why is Luther unable to heal from his wound?
because
What is
Luther
happening to
because Luther is still in the player list. So when I hit the rest button, I accidentally clicked Luther.
I just imagine that he's having his own adventure in America right now, and we just see his wound flash. Meanwhile,
So your trip from Darwin to Port Hedland, it does cut through a part of the Great Sandy Desert.
Is it as boring as we want it to be?
It's all
Oh, I found him. His name is Umar Rashid.
excellent. Thank you.
UMAR, then RASHID.
It's a lot of like just wide open expanse, and it is really kind of boring. The only thing is it takes a long while because out here there is no standard gauge for the trains.
What does that mean?
So on a railway, the gauge is the distance between the two rails.
Mm-hmm.
So most civilized places use a standard gauge. So all of your trains are the same width all of the time. This part of Australia, significantly less so.
What does that mean? The train starts stretching?
No, it means there is a lot of stopping, disembarking, getting onto another train,
Oh dear God.
or waiting for hours for that other train to show up
So that we can continue on the other gauge.
so you can continue on the other gauge.
Oh. Ugh.
So there are times when it's like, you're literally like at this like little kind of like encampment with like some tents set up waiting overnight for the morning when the next train will come to pick up people.
Dear Lord.
It feels like a
Maybe
caravan
books-
and an oasis kind of deal.
Yes.
Maybe books were better then.
I don't know what you're talking about. Alvin is thrilled that he's bored.
So,
I mean, there's less chance of the books blowing away.
but the trip itself, other than the inconvenience, and the occasional days of like waiting in like just sweltering weather, like for the next train to show up. But comparatively, it is peaceful.
Oh shit! I completely forgot. There's no AC, and we're in like fucking the desert of Australia.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
yeah.
and you're getting into the summer months since it's October.
Blah.
But it is uneventful enough that what we're going to do is I'll click on development, and everybody can actually roll their development to see if any of your skills go up.
So we clicking.
You don't get the chance
How long
to.
are we on it?
It takes you about a week.
Okay. So we don't get the extra die rolls for bonuses because it's not long enough, but we do get to click on develop.
Exactly.
Apparently, I am card counting.
Woo! Oh, by 2%. I rolled 100 and then I rolled 2%. Freaking frag.
Yeah.
My slate event has improved.
So Evelyn is counting cards, and Gary is cheating at cards.
Apparently. Maybe that explains my spot hidden going up.
Oh, my English.
I'm trying to notice when Gary is cheating.
One goes with the
My
other.
English has got noticeably better.
But it is peaceful. It is relaxing.
I mean, it's definitely a change of pace.
Except for Miles. Miles is having trippy dreams.
Miles is getting closer and closer to something.
Getting closer to what?
We don't
Nothing
know.
good.
Well, during your development, your dreaming's going up
Yeah, I saw that.
by a fairly sizable amount.
Uh-huh.
But it's relaxing enough that
I'm sure it's nothing.
everybody regains or gains 6 sanity.
That's
I'm
nice.
gonna try to discuss with Evelyn to try to psychoanalysis help her while on the train.
Right. Make a psychoanalysis roll.
Just gonna raise my own sanity.
But yes, having
maximum.
Dr. Rashid along that you guys can kind of talk to, I mean, kind of coaching things because you don't want to break your psychiatrist. But having somebody that you can talk to about different things, just having that ability to open up to somebody that's not part of your core group, is kind of relaxing. And for once, the sanity die didn't bone you guys, and I rolled a 6 on the d6.
So we're all gonna die at the next step.
Got a 75 on a 66, Eugene.
Yeah.
Do you want
I'm not gonna lucky with that.
Do you like Evelyn enough to spend the luck?
Yep, I do.
Not that
Question is,
much.
do we need our only magic user to be more or less crazy? I think is the.
All right. So Evelyn, you can give me a sanity roll with a bonus die.
Oh.
All right. That is good. So yes, being able to talk to Eugene as probably one of the only people that understands what exactly is going on. Basically, the way psychoanalysis for indefinite insanity works during downtime, and usually it takes longer, but you guys have a peaceful journey here. Because he made his psychoanalysis roll, you get the bonus die on your sanity roll. If you pass the sanity roll, your indefinite insanity is done.
Oh.
That almost sounds like a positive, Chris. Are you allowed to do that in this game?
Evelyn is currently not crazy.
sanity's still pretty low, though, so don't worry, it'll be
You
back.
got 6.
Did you add on the
I
plus
did.
6?
That took me all the way up to 38.
Oh,
Jesus
I
Christ.
mean, I'm back at 61, which is my maximum sanity.
I'm getting close
Holy
to max
shit.
again, so gee.
My max is 71. I haven't been near it in ages.
stop reading books.
I probably
I was gonna say,
haven't
you
been
read
near
all the
it since we
books.
left North America.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
Your
that's true.
maximum sanity?
Uh-huh. 71.
I
Mine is
thought your
60.
maximum sanity was based on the mythos score, like
It is.
one minus the other.
It's 99 minus your Cthulhu Mythos.
Which is 28.
So how does some have 30 something or 60 something sanity?
No.
Holy
I have...
shit.
Some of us read a lot of books.
Yeah, Eugene and Evelyn have
And
read a lot of
spare
books.
the rest of you.
My max sanity is still 99.
Holy shit, dude!
That's nice. I like that. How close are you to it though?
What's your current sanity?
78.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Gary hasn't read any of the books, but he has seen some shit.
Gary's current sanity is higher than my possible sanity.
Uh-huh.
That's why I say, fuck curiosity.
Yeah.
This is a man who
So you
ran.
got to be
He's
another
right.
model. Yeah.
I'm as
Oh,
sane
yeah.
as
He made
someone
the
who
right
knows as
decision.
much as I can be.
When
I feel pretty dinky. I feel pretty dinky because I'm not at max sanity. My maximum is 94, but I'm at 94.
Good lord.
when I was in university, I played a game, and one of the characters had a maximum sanity of 25.
I'm working on it.
Holy Jesus.
Yeah. And then he sacrificed the rest of the party to save himself.
Of course they did.
Hashtag campaign goals.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what. I mean, Evelyn wants power. She's trying to eat freaking people.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, neither do I. Oh, jeez.
Obviously,
know.
if you have 94 possible sanity.
So finally, after a week of travel across the desert of Australia,
Cool, now let's die.
you arrive in the Pilbara region of Western Australia in a town called Port Hedland. Port Hedland currently has a population of 303 people.
I was going to say, does it make Darwin look like New York City?
Yes.
Kinda.
But there is actually a port here, and a small railroad station.
I mean, is 300 really just a population, or is it just like a bunch of people traveling in the same direction?
Presumably, some of the people stay here.
Yes, because actually one of the leads you guys have is a gentleman named Robert Mackenzie who lives in Port Hedland. Who's
Chris.
Yep.
I feel like the train arriving might double the population. Like, how big is the train that we're arriving in?
It's not that big.
Okay.
But yes, Robert Mackenzie, who was friends with both Professor Cowles and Arthur McWeir, who found the things in the desert, lives here in Port Hedland. Port Hedland is also, it's basically, there's a lot of gold deposits in the nearby hills. So it's basically, it is the kind of the main hub for prospectors that are going further out into the hills and the deserts to strike it rich with gold. They basically go from here by another train to a town called Concudgery, and then Concudgery leads into the last field here type of place as people go out to seek their fortune.
So this is like the Klondike.
Yes. Concudger itself is about 150 miles from here, but there's a train that runs every day. Other places of note is Port Hedland actually does have a small airport, or airfield, I guess. And you guys
I
can
think we
actually
knew that because
see.
we almost took the plane, right?
Yep. And you guys can actually see like airplanes taking off here. I mean, it's kind of a novelty, but they're here.
And we came to the conclusion that these are not passenger planes. That there's no way that we could have all traveled with our gear by plane, right?
You would have had to have booked several planes. Basically, they're planes in the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom sense.
Yeah. Well, there was a cargo plane, right? Doesn't he get thrown out of the cargo plane and ends up landing on a
Yep.
inflatable raft? Like that could have carried us all.
Yep. I mean, you guys are, just over 2 decades from the invention of flight, so
Things are moving quickly.
things are moving quickly. But you guys disembark from the train. There are several people that are staying on because the train does continue on down to Perth. You don't want to even consider how long that might take with all the stops that you had to make along the way. But the town of Port Hedland is yours.
All right, so we do this. We do the standard thing. Like we check into a hotel, and I start making sure that we're not being spied upon. There's only 300 people, though, right?
Yep, 300 people. There is a couple of pubs, one of which has like rooms for rent as well.
Is that like the only place where we can get lodging? Considering this as the town?
Yeah, it looks like a lot of people, instead of renting a room, they basically pitch a tent.
Bivouac?
They pitch a tent. Yeah. There are a couple of like permanent structures, some private homes, probably for long-term residents, and like the pub and the general store and that sort of thing.
So the standard, we search, we take a look to see if people are following us, and then alternatively, we also find lodgings, which is the only place where we can go is this pub, I guess.
The Concudgery Grand.
Oh, that sounds like a grand name for what it is.
The pub it is. Let's make sure we're not followed, but
yeah, and as you guys are kind of taking a look around, keeping your eyes open, you don't notice anybody following you. There are people going about their business. There are a surprising number of automotives, primarily trucks.
Really? Color me
That
literally
would be a
surprised.
good investment.
well, we still need to move to there's another city farther inland that is closer to our objectives, and we're gonna start from there. I don't remember if we should find more materials and people here or there, but we do have a contact that will help us plan the trip here. But as soon as we're settled on which this is our starting point, truck would be a great idea.
Okay, so let's start with checking in.
Yep.
And then let's figure out what weird stuff is going on here that we need to be aware of. Let's get some food. And let's
Check
figure out a
in,
starting point.
rumors, food, and then we can check on contact.
Yeah. I'd rather be safe
Sounds good.
before we start looking for where to start. Because we still need to figure out where we're going, right? We have an idea, but we need to hire people to help us trek through the outback, right?
Yes, but we do have a contact that is used to planning expedition like that,
Yeah.
and might have been involved in the first one that discovered the place. I'm not exactly sure. I need to
All
check back on diary.
All right. So, Chris, we're going to do that in that order.
All right.
We're going to check in. We're going to check to see if we're being followed. We are going to find some food. And unless anyone has something else that they want to do in a different order, or is that because I'm just relying on the standard here so far, that what we've done in every place we've come into.
We can go have a bite slash drink and talk with the locals, see if there's any
Yep.
strange rumor we should be aware of.
A drink. That sounds a great idea.
So yeah, you guys go and check into the Concudgery Grand. The middle-aged woman kind of running the show. It's like, oh, how long will you be staying?
Oh, about a month.
Oh,
It's just fast talk and just like non-committal, but it might be less and it might be more. We're here, see, head out and see what we can find. And I just kind of like, if I need to roll fast talk, I will fast talk. I'm giving her an not specific amount of time. That sounds reasonable.
Okay. Yeah, give me a fast talk roll.
that's our skill raise.
Are you serious? I'm going to push it.
Okay.
What happens if I push it and it goes bad? I just want to know.
You'll probably draw attention. Oh, there you go.
I did not draw attention.
So you give her the old razzle dazzle. She's like, oh, what an interesting accent. Where are you from? From America.
Oh,
you say?
from America, but he's from the UK, but not originally, and he's from. And again, it sounds like I give her a lot of information, and it's a lot of air.
So yeah, she kind of makes notes of things.
Does she ask us for passports or anything or any identification?
No, she just gets you, sign the ledger sort of thing. You do need to pay for a week in advance if you're going to be staying long term.
Yep.
But yeah, you guys can. She shows you to your rooms. They're like very like nicely but out of dated in terms of furnishings.
I'm frankly surprised at the warmth that we've been received with so far in Australia. Everywhere else we've gone, I probably shouldn't say it.
Well, I feel like
Please
they
don't.
have lots. I feel they have lots of stranger around here. People trying to strike their luck, so they're more open to strangers.
Yeah, Australia is a lot less insular than some of the places you've been.
That could be.
You say that, but we're still looking for a ladies' bar.
There is not one here in Port Hedland.
Oh,
But that being said, Port Hedland doesn't care where you drink as long as you don't cause trouble.
Okay.
So we can go take a sit at the pub, talk with locals or with the barman, and try to see if anything strange is happening around here. Well, not strange, interesting.
Sure. Everybody can give me your choice of a charm, fast talk, listen, or persuade.
I mean,
Oh, I'll go with persuade.
I will go with listen.
And that's 100.
Oh, ouch. Oh, Gary.
you have
Gary, you need to
73% and you rolled 100 on that one? Jesus,
Yep.
we really are not the luckiest group in the world.
As a snubby New Yorker, it just fits. Like, in that ditch of a town, what you're doing?
Oh dear.
You, sir, should be polite.
Wow.
How about fuck up?
100, 100, 81, 94. We're just batting 1,000.
Oh, that's bad.
So yeah, as you guys spend some time just kind of like hanging out in the pub, talking to folks, listening to things. Although the people they're not standoffish, but there is a sense of like they don't want people to overhear about where they may have found gold.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody kind of like keeps everything on the down low. But Evelyn manages to overhear, and Alvin manages to convince some people. I mean, there's the standard things to hear.
Yeah, prospecting folk tend to be like superstitious, right? So
Yeah.
they're probably gonna be like, "Oh, this place is haunted" or whatever, right?
Yeah. There is one gentleman that kind of gets Gary's attention, and he's like, he's found like a gold bearing reef. Basically, it's an exposed line of gold. Gotta be 200 feet long. I just need some seed money to get the claim set up.
I might fall for that.
Strike it rich we will. Couldn't be any more than $50. We'll do everything.
$50, what a bargain. I take it out of my own money.
Alvin rolls his eyes and tells them, "Make sure you get it in writing."
He's
Sarcastically, but I'm thinking he's gonna take me at face value.
he spat in his hand and he just handshake me.
That's right. That's how you know he's authentic.
Exactly. That's a contract.
And just so the players are aware, that's roughly equivalent to about $1,000 in today's money. But yes, he's like, okay, I'll go file the paperwork, and we'll be rolling in money in no time.
Of course we will.
Miles and Eugene, you guys do over here. I mean, people, they kind of take a look at you and they do start warning you about the snakes and the spiders and all of the dangerous things that are in the desert. Both of you can make a natural world roll or survival desert, your choice.
Um, could you roll my survival desert for me? Just can't reach the button on my phone.
Okay. Right. So as far the information that they give you guys is factual. They especially warn you if you're going down to the desert to be concerned of something called the Death Adder, which is notorious in the deserts, largely because unlike a lot of snakes, it is not afraid of humans.
Oh, that's not good.
And if you are bitten by one, you will probably die within probably half a day. The good news is, though, its bite also paralyzes you and causes you to lose your senses, so you won't know you're dying.
Yay.
Yep. I'm gonna get some anti-poison. But more anti-poison.
There isn't any.
Oh,
If you want
okay.
if you want anti-venom, you got to go to one of those big cities like Sydney.
I had bought a bunch of antitoxin in Sydney before we left, but
Yep.
not sure about that.
And then they will also warn you about the funnel web spider, which basically its fangs are powerful enough to pierce through toenails, and its bite is lethal probably within the hour.
Why would it bite me in the toenail? That sounds terrible.
Just in case you think, like, walking around in your bare feet at night in the desert is a good idea. Like, if you got to go take a piss or something, take your boots. Oh, by the way, shake your boots out before you go.
I'm not
All
sure I
the
want to take my,
reasons
sure I
Anita
want to
will
take my
never
boots
be
off
going to
anytime.
Australia.
But yeah, they basically the folks there, they do give Miles and Eugene like kind of like basic survival stuff enough so if you need to make any survival desert related rolls, you guys will be able to do so with a bonus die. You don't find out anything like totally useful to what you're doing, but at the same time, it's good to know.
Oh yeah, I'll take it.
Yep. I'll take a bonus die on surviving the Australian desert.
Evelyn, you overhear a group of drovers, basically cattle drivers, who basically are talking about that time a couple of years ago, or about a year ago, when they were driving their cattle down the Canning Stock route, which is one of the major routes that gets out into the desert itself. So there's wells and everything along the way of the Canning Stock route. But they were driving their cattle, and these giant monstrous things swooped down out of the sky and stole some of them. Flying creatures the size of bears.
I'm sorry, Chris, you're going to need to run that by me again. You said flying creatures the size of bear picked up and left with what?
Cattles.
Cattle.
Like a cow?
Yep.
Like a full friggin' cow?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the other guys is like, "Oh, Johnny, last time you told that story, it was the size of an alligator, or I guess a crocodile. Every time you tell that story, the creature gets bigger. Maybe the cows get smaller." And then they like have some good-natured laughs and drink their beer. But Evelyn, since you succeeded on your roll, you notice as they're joking about this, Johnny gets that 1,000-eye stare as everybody is kind of kidding him about what he saw and what took his cow. There's no doubt at all in your mind that Johnny has seen things.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly cow stealing flying things the size of bears.
Mm.
You can hear his fraying sanity.
We're gonna strike rich, my friends.
And Alvin, you actually find some American prospectors who are happy to talk to somebody from back home. And as they're kind of telling stories and drinks are flowing and stuff, they let you know that some of the Americans don't have a bad or a great reputation, but there was this one guy a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, took about a dozen men out into the bush, had them like dig a shaft about 30 feet deep, maybe 40 feet deep, then told them to stop, gave them a huge bonus, and sent them back to Darwin. No sign of any gold or anything. Just hired some people, dig a hole, paid them off, and sent them back to Darwin. The heat does strange things to folks, but pay big money to a dozen men to do nothing but dig a hole.
Yeah, Chris. When they said they did in the outback, does he? I'll say something like, "Oh, that's weird." Depends on where it is. Like, oh, maybe there's gold there or whatever. Directionality, is it in the same direction that we're going?
It is.
I ask if that person ever came back or if you think he fell in the hole.
Oh no, no. Oh, what's his name? What's his name? Oh, Carver, John Carver. Yeah, he's been back. Does most of his business with Wycroft and Concudgery though. Doesn't come back this way very often.
What is his business? Just digging holes? Ha 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 ha.
I don't know. Maybe he found something. Maybe he's sitting on a big old pile of gold. Who knows? Desert does weird things to people.
Beaches too.
Mm. Well, and I guess since Alvin got a exchange success. So Alvin, you also over here as part of this conversation about this guy came in 4 or 5 years ago, claimed that he had found like these big squared off blocks of stone in the desert, bought around for the pub and everything, roughly in the same area that guy went out to dig a hole.
All right. Square blocks, holes, Concudgery, and his name was Carver.
Yeah.
All right. We got what we got.
Oh, I got some new things to fear and a new nightmare for a while.
Yeah, I think we all get together and we share our information. I learn about spiders and people learn about holes, I guess.
Rich, I say.
Why?
Just,
Why are we
Gary
just
going
did
to be
that.
rich?
I'm sorry, what?
Why are we going to be rich?
Oh, I paid $50 to that guy.
For what?
How does that make us rich?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna have parts in his plane. You
Okay.
all absolutely understand that I've been ripped off.
Oh yeah.
yes, absolutely.
I'm still not clear on how that makes us rich. But okay.
Well, right now I have $9 to my name, so yeah, that's a bit more than I could have invested.
I'm going to subtly or not so subtly replace whatever glass or bottle Gary is drinking out of with a coffee cup.
Gary
Yep.
takes a sip and just looks surprised that there's no alcohol.
Think it's time to sober up a bit.
I can stop whenever I want.
Well, you should want to now because
I
it's a
probably
desert.
should.
Yes, you probably should. I heard about giant monstrous things along the Canning stock route that apparently made off with a few of some man's cattle. And it happened. I could tell by the look on his face. It wasn't just a bunch of drunken talk.
Well, I found square blocks and a guy digging holes. vaguely in the area where we need to go.
We
This
heard
guy
something about
Carver hired a bunch of folks to get it done. Chris, how long ago was that?
4 or 5 years.
And it was weird enough that people are still talking about it 4 or 5 years later.
Actually, sorry, 4 or 5 years later was when the guy found the blocks, which is the stone, the photographic plates you guys saw back in New York. Carver was 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay, 2 or 3 years ago.
Was Carver the name of the guy we were supposed to meet?
No, the guy you're looking for here is Robert Mackenzie.
Okay. Sorry, I don't have my notes on the tiny tablet.
Yeah, no worries.
Seems to me he's an engineer.
He is an engineer.
Yay!
And that Carter might be related to the people who sent the artifacts to London. Maybe. We should be wary of that.
Hmm. And you said something about boots?
Yeah, if we go into the desert, make sure to shake your boots because sometimes, like snakes and spiders, go sleep in the boots.
Oh my god.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh.
So the folk
Chris,
over there with not many teeth in his mouth gave me a couple of tricks to survive the desert, and I figured it wouldn't go amiss to just know that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you lived long enough to just have like the 4 teeth left, so I guess his advice should work.
Oh dear.
Chris, I buy 2 extra pair of boots. Mental note: I buy 2 extra pair of boots. I'm traveling with 3 boots and something to fill them with. I don't know if it's extra
Okay.
socks or whatever, or like to make sure that nothing can get in.
Gotcha.
Basically, if something is living in one of my boots, I want to be able to just say, you now
Not
own that pair
today,
of boots.
Satan.
Yeah. I give the boots away to whatever is living in them, and I have another pair.
Gotcha. All right. Is there anything else you guys want to do here in Port Hedland?
We need to get a guide, right? One of the things was we need directionality and to get a guide, but I think that all of our basic stuff or our intro stuff is covered, unless anyone wants to go any further on something.
Did the guy we needed to meet to make logistic was here or in the other town?
Mackenzie lives here in Port Hedland.
So yeah, if we go meet Mackenzie tomorrow, we can ask him, tell him we friend with the professor, and he should have received the telegram from the other tenure professor from the university telling him that we were coming. He should be able to help us set up the logistic.
Okay. I love the fact that here there's a place called Lake Disappointment.
Sorry, Lake
They're
what?
kind of like they're like Newfoundland when it comes to like place names.
Yep. Lake Disappointment. All right. Yeah, tracking down Robert McKenzie is not difficult. He is one of the people that has an actual house here, like he lives here year round.
It's the number on this door is 2. That's the third house.
Yep. And yeah, it's a nicely appointed little house. There's no yard or anything because it's the desert, but nicely appointed just the same.
Look, he's growing tumbleweeds. Oh, they're going away.
Hmm.
I wonder if Dingo Falls is just a bunch of dingoes running off a cliff ledge or something.
Could be how it's named. You never
Several.
know with Australia.
I like there's a little sandy desert inside the giant, big desert.
Got to separate your deserts. They're very different.
So yeah, the guy that found Lake Disappointment was expecting to find a large freshwater lake, but it was dry, and he named it Lake Disappointment.
That is
That
I
is
the
the
mean,
most,
best story ever.
yeah, it's the most Australian thing I've heard.
Yeah. There is apparently there's like actually mythology around it in the native Aboriginal culture. Huh, cool.
Lake disappointment. I love it.
So yes, you guys can easily find Robert Mackenzie's place.
I think we can just give him a knock. Not like the good doctor that we need an appointment with. I assume in a city of 300, he's gonna take a call.
So, oh yes, I received word that visitors would be coming, and he's a fairly well kept man in like his like mid-40s. I actually have a picture of him here someplace.
So are we finding Mackenzie?
Yep,
mhm.
there you go. Posted the founder there.
Jesus.
Like,
That is not what I expected for Australia.
Hello.
Mm. I assume you can sell me some aviator gin quite soon.
yeah. So you're. My understanding is you're friends of Professor Cowles
Yes.
and of David's.
Yes.
Oh,
You were mentioned as being close to some of our research subject right now, and I saw that you knew this part quite well and could help us
yeah.
final hearings.
Well, I mean, if Cal's the Dodge sent you, then you're probably interested in the find that Arthur and I made.
And
Yes.
what find is that?
Um, Arthur believed there might have been some sort of ancient city. I mean, throwing everything that we know about ancient civilization, completely out of skew. We had planned to go back and survey it completely. Unfortunately, Arthur died of influenza. Oh, geez, probably 4 years ago now. And then I just didn't have it in me to, undertake it on my own. But yeah, we found some strange. Arthur called them monolith. I don't know if I'd want to call that far, but he seemed to think that it might indicate something like a larger structure buried underneath the sands. Just a second, and he goes and he grabs like some maps and papers and stuff off of some shelves.
This might be with some of the research we made. So yeah, we're interested.
This here, and he marks that on the map, and it's the same coordinates that you guys picked up in the diary excerpt. The 22 degrees 3 minutes 14 seconds south by 125 degrees 0 minutes 39 seconds east. The same coordinates that you guys got in the journal entry. So,
Yep.
I mean, we didn't tell any about this. we'd always planned. I mean, we found it would have been 4.5 years ago now. And then we decided we would mount an expedition and go and see what we could find. But then Arthur took sick, and then he passed, and well, I just didn't have the compulsion to go back. And I got caught up with work, and but I mean, obviously, word has gotten out. I mean, I know Cal's has Arthur's photo plates, and Dodge must have thought that you were at least worth talking to, or he would have sent you out here. A couple of years ago, there's another American came through, Mr. Houston. Was asking about the photographs. I'd heard about them. Wouldn't tell me how he'd heard about them. Suggested that he'd been a friend of Arthur's. I fell for it. I lent them some of Arthur's material, and damn fellow just disappeared. But if you're interested in going out, these maps will help. You're going to want supplies. I assume some of you can drive.
Hold on. These maps will help. We need a guide.
You might find somebody in Kincudgery that can guide you. I mean, you've got the map, you've got the coordinates. Follow the Canning route. When you get near the end of it, head kind of north. I've got work and responsibilities. I can't just pick up and leave.
Well, if you can help us find where we can buy the supply, make sure we have enough of everything. We do have some people that can drive, and we just want to make sure we have the right supply and we're well equipped to do the trip.
Yeah. You're gonna want some trucks. How many of you are there? How many are in your expedition?
6.
No, seriously.
We were planning on hiring more people. 6 is our research team, if you will.
Okay. How many drivers do you have?
I think we have 3. I look at the others. I'm not sure exactly who can drive.
Okay. So you're gonna want. And he starts like grabbing some note page and kind of like scribbling things down. It's like, okay. So you're going. As long as you follow the Canning stock route.
Chris, I pick up a mat and I point clearly not at the Canning stock route and put a finger. So the Canning stock route all the way to.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to want 3 trucks because you're going to have to. I mean, you're going to have to carry your food. You're going to have to carry your camping supplies. You're going to have to carry your bush supplies. You're going to have to carry your water, and you're going to have to carry your fuel. So you're going to need 3 trucks at the least. 6 of you. How many people do you plan to hire? Because you're going to have to provide food and water for them as well. That's going to drastically increase the number of vehicles you need.
That's a bit why we wanted to speak with you. How much staff do you think we need to get there safely?
Oh, to get there safely, me and Arthur found it.
Was it safe?
We both made it back. I mean, you got to watch out for the wildlife and the dingoes and the poisonous creatures, and there's some of the folks there don't take too kindly to white men on their land, but by and large they don't cause any trouble as long as you don't cause them any trouble. As long as they understand that you're just passing through and you're not there to set up any sort of claims or anything. So 6 people can do it easily. But if you're thinking like, oh, we need to bring 20 people, then you're going to need probably 5 more trucks, which means you're going to need 5 more drivers.
Oh, okay. I see. We would like to do recon first. Just make sure that the expedition is safe first. Before we bring any operation over.
Right.
But if we can prove the city exists, then we can make it match with our research. We could advance some of our discovery.
Okay. I've got people here in town. I can get you the trucks. I can get you fuel. Um, food and water you might want to pick up in Concudgery. It's just that way your water's not sitting stagnant any longer than it has to.
From here to Concattery, is it a truck ride?
You can take the train. You can drive the trucks. It's about 8 hours.
Okay.
Once you're in Concudgery, anything that you do decide that you need, you can probably pick up from Wycroft. He does a lot of outfitting with the prospectors there. Him and his 3 girls run a general store there, well stocked.
It sounds good.
So yeah, get me a list of the things that you think you're gonna need. I can get them here. Load up the trucks for you. Probably take me a day or so to get things ready.
I'll run through the rest of it. Do you think we need to bring security on the first trip there, or should we try to travel light?
Uh, if you got people that know how to shoot a gun and you got a couple of kangaroo rifles, couldn't hurt.
The heck is a kangaroo rifle?
It's a rifle you use to shoot kangaroos with.
Thank you. That's not what I meant. I mean, how is it different than a I was gonna say sniper rifle, but that's not what we have. Like one of the Remington rifles we have.
Are you going to use that to shoot kangaroos?
Yes.
Then it's a kangaroo rifle.
Okay. Thank you for the.
I mean, you probably don't want to shoot the kangaroo with, anything really big, but maybe it's a really big kangaroo. I'm not judging.
So I'm not using the elephant rifle on kangaroos. I should get a smaller rifle.
Are kangaroos especially aggressive?
No. Oh, no. It's just something we like to tell, you people. But having a couple of people for security, people who know how to shoot and a couple of guns, is not the worst idea.
I feel like you're telling us that we should hire 20 people.
Do you want to bring 8 trucks through the desert?
Is that what we should do? I have no ability to gauge whether I want to, can, or should bring 5 trucks through the desert. I'm trying to make this expedition as worthwhile and as safe as I can. And I have no context to be able to say if we need 1, 2, 12, 15, or 28 trucks. I was hoping that we could tell you what we needed and you could tell us what we needed to take.
Well, your friend here suggested that you were going to reconnoiter, and then if it was worthwhile, mount a bigger expedition. So I think you'll do just fine. Assuming you said there's a couple of you that can drive.
Yeah.
And you've got a couple of people that can shoot.
They happen to be the same people mostly.
Yeah. You'll be fine. Once you discover that if it is worth your time, then mount a bigger expedition. But the more vehicles you bring into the desert, the more things that can go wrong.
Chris, what's my take on this guy?
You can make a psychology roll.
Right. I don't know if he's trying to dissuade us from going by making it insurmountable, or if he really doesn't care but he's definitely doesn't seem to be vying for more money or more of our services. Yeah, I rolled a 94. I know nothing.
Can I roll on?
Absolutely, you can roll psychology. Anybody who's trying to get a read on Robert.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I get him to care. And it might just be more bills, right? I don't know.
Regular success.
Okay. Gary, yeah, he seems like the up and up. Like he's not wrong. The more vehicles you bring, the more things can go wrong. Going with like a smallish group, like he said, it was just him and Arthur originally that found the place, just the two of them.
Yeah, but is he trying to dissuade us, or is he just trying to put it bluntly?
he's being blunt. He's not trying to dissuade you, and he actually like has given you like maps and coordinates and agreed to arrange for the vehicles and everything. He just doesn't feel like the city folk know exactly what they're getting into.
Well, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
And there's no amount of money that we can throw at him to make him interested enough to come, or just has that not happen?
Um,
I will just plainly ask, and you would not be interested in playing the guide, would you? Uh, for uh, for compensation, of course.
give me either a charm or a persuade.
Let's try not to roll 100.
Oof. So yeah, so as you guys are talking, and he's like, starting to like make notes as to what he needs to bring, and what sort of things to gather. You can see Gary. You can see that little spark in his eyes kind of lights up. When he's talking about how him and Arthur found this, and they had planned to excavate it, and then his friend passed away. And you have the feeling that it's not that he got busy or anything. It's just like that was like something that they had planned to do together. So he kind of like doesn't want to complete it. But talking to you guys, you can
Like
see.
unfinished business?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna try to nudge in that direction. I said, wouldn't Archer like you to complete that stuff?
Oh,
I'm not a religious man, but we might have been put on the same at the crossroad here for a reason.
um. Well, I mean, you city folks are probably going to get lost without a guide.
Then maybe die. I
And,
mean,
oh,
let's
and
be honest.
and he kind of looks at you. He looks at Gary, and he looks at Alvin, and he looks at Evelyn, and then he looks at Eugene, and then he looks at Miles, and so like, some of you would probably die. That's true. And I don't really want that on my conscience.
Your expertise would be absolutely appreciated.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. I mean, not that you're going to die, but maybe we were put on the same path.
I heard that a lot recently, and I'm getting to like it.
Yeah, give me a day or two. I'll get the trucks together. We'll load in the supplies we can here, and well, we should be able to head out tomorrow, and we can get to Concudgery before dark. We'll leave around lunchtime tomorrow. Yeah, I think this is. Yeah, I think this is right.
I smile for the first time in a week, and I try to shake his hand.
Oh yeah, he'll definitely like reach out and shake your hand.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I mean, when I got the telegram, I wasn't sure what to expect really, but maybe who knows? Maybe what we'll find there will change the world.
Maybe.
And then, unless anybody has any questions, he will like kind of escort you to the door and start making arrangements.
That went better than expected.
Oh, no. Do you know a man named Carter?
No, the name doesn't sound familiar.
Went into the desert and just dig the tunnel. Paid a bunch of men to dig a tunnel and just paid them and with nothing found.
I heard something about that. Some crazy American, and he'll look at like the Americans in your party.
I mean, yeah, we're nuts.
Can't say I'm surprised. Um, you mentioned
Oh,
going out along the uh, Canning Stock route.
Yeah, well, from Concudgery, we're gonna have to go inland a bit to catch the Canning, and then follow the Canning north, just past Bungabini, and then we'll have to head into the desert towards the.
I am
Yeah,
just astounded at the names of the places here.
yeah, it's got its own kind of charm.
The reason though that I was asking about that route is because I overheard some cattle rustlers, although I understand you call them something different here. And they were talking about having seen something.
Oh, the
That
desert will make you see all kinds of things.
So you haven't heard any odd stories about that
Oh,
area?
I've heard people, saying that things got their cows as they were traveling along the route. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't watch all of your cows all of the time. And dingoes are opportunistic hunters.
Dingoes.
Yeah. I mean, some of these guys get some beers in them and they'll tell you all kinds of stories about things they saw in the desert. But, when you've been out in the heat for a week or better and you're down to your last dregs of water, mind starts to play tricks.
What's the strangest thing you've ever seen?
Oh, well, I mean, aside from the possibility of a, underground city that completely rewrites everything we know about prehistoric civilization.
Yeah, other than that.
No, that's pretty much it.
Chris, can I psychology him to know if he's lying?
Yes, you can.
Clearly he's lying.
Clearly. But yeah, it's like, I mean, you see things like, see a bird at a distance, for a moment there, the heat shimmer makes it look like it might be, something else. I mean, the mind plays tricks on people when it starts to get deprived of nutrients.
Mhm.
Is that how you call whiskey?
No, and I strongly suggest don't drink alcohol while we're in the desert. It'll cause you to dehydrate faster.
Yeah. And I just look at Evelyn.
Right, that just exploded my plan for what to do while we were driving.
Shouldn't be drinking and driving.
That was not going to be one of the people driving.
Oh, I'm going to be driving. I think we can all agree on that. But yes, maybe not alcohol.
No. I mean, probably while you're sitting around the campfire wouldn't be too bad. It does get chilly at night still. But during the day, you're going to want to kind of keep that away.
That will help me.
Here's hoping.
Ooh, apparently, the world record for the longest period of daily temperatures of over 100 degrees Fahrenheit is held in Western Australia.
I'm not surprised.
100 degrees Fahrenheit for 160 days.
Dumb way to die.
Yay!
Ew.
Hey, are we there at that time to experience it?
That
100.
the time of year you guys are, that would have actually been last year.
Oh, that'd be
Oh man, I feel
37.7
ripped off.
here.
Yeah,
Oh,
but it's a dry heat.
that would be better, but not by enough.
Good thing they didn't try to destroy the world last year, or else would have been the worst heat.
But yes, unless you guys have any other questions for him.
I'm gonna leave him to his business.
And yeah, and he's, we'll leave it right around noon tomorrow.
Sounds good to me.
Leaving you guys with basically the evening to entertain yourselves. There is, as you come to find out in Port Hedland, one of like the little like public houses. They do actually offer nightly movies.
Ooh.
Nightly movies and billiard tables.
That
Oh,
sounds like civilization. I'll enjoy that.
it does a bit, doesn't it?
Is there any way to try to spot some kind of black market in town?
There is no black market.
Not enough people. Eh?
Not nearly enough people.
We kind of need a pint of blood. You have to do the ritual in the desert. Not
I'm
sure
We
where
still
also
we
need
got.
to make sure if it's clear.
Yeah.
Guys, I need to drop, so enjoy. I gotta go. Sorry.
All right, no worries. We'll
Yep.
see you next time. Ooh, apparently the movie playing is the 1925 version of The Phantom of the Opera with Lon Chaney.
Ooh, nice.
I mean, that sounds like a good plan for tonight.
I approve.
We've seen worst.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's not even a real tentacle.
We'll try not to mock it too much.
Oh God.
But yes, you guys have a pleasant evening enjoying a movie and some billiards, drinking some beer, and generally just relaxing.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm making sure that my coffee and alcohol are ready for travel.
Okay. But yes, so far Australia has been surprisingly quiet. I mean, most of the things that have happened to you guys have been self-inflicted. But the next day, you guys gather up your things. You can meet Mackenzie at noon, easy enough. He's got 3 trucks, these old, like I mean, you know what a 1925 era truck looks like the kind of the open box on the back sort of thing. He's got like barrels and barrels and barrels of water and fuel, some dried food. Pick up more water and stuff in Concudgery, but this way, at least, just in case that there's none available, there's some ready. But yeah, it's 3 trucks to drive. So, who all knows how to drive?
I do. That's why I volunteered.
I have a 20.
Yeah, I just have 20.
Well, the good news is that we're probably going to be off-road quite a bit. So you shouldn't have to worry about crashing into other vehicles.
No, but sand pits and stuff.
Yes.
Right. So,
I'll take the tricky spots. If either of you would like to drive. If you don't want to, I am more than happy to drive. Says Anita, knowing her dice luck.
That is that you should. I mean, it's not voting, right?
I mean, we could act like this is a democracy, and
No. I mean, a woman can
I'm allowed
drive.
to.
A woman can
I'm
drive.
allowed.
I mean, it's not. It's not like if you would vote or something. It's
Yeah,
just
buy property or have my own bank account. Hmm. Yeah,
ridiculous.
it is.
Damn,
I
damn.
agree. And I am going to hold you to that while you're sober too.
That would destroy the sanctity of marriage.
Don't even get me started. So ridiculous.
Well, at least the town here is small enough that you can drink anywhere you want.
Yeah. Anyhow.
So pretty sure that Evelyn can lead, and we can alternate drivers for the other trucks.
yep, because there's Evelyn at like 48, and then everybody else at 20.
Oh, let's hope my dice don't screw me over. I take it you would like that drive roll now?
Getting to Concudgery, it's an easy drive. I mean, it's bumpy and
Okay.
everything, but it's an easy drive. You don't have to make any rolls. It does take about 8 hours, so if you leave at noon, you get there at about 8 o'clock. And Concudgery is very much a like last chance for gas sort of place. More so than anything else, it is a tiny little place where people basically pick up their what they need for supplies at Wycroft's and then head back out. There's no newspaper. It does have a telegraph office at the telegraph at the mining office.
Should we send a telegraph to my cousin?
I mean, we can keep him updated on things. Do we need him to prepare anything?
No, but I mean,
Just in case.
we might be hard to reach for a while.
Yeah, we can at least send them an update. I mean, just briefly, just in case the um telegram get intercepted.
So as you travel, the day is scorching hot. The land is very dry. Like all of the like water courses are like bone dry. There are no rivers. There are no creeks. There are no streams.
Yikes.
Every once in a while, you see like these very low trees, but nothing that resembles even like a small copse of trees. Just like individual trees here and there, kind of dotting the landscape. There are no farms. Everything is so dry that like you're basically like covered in road dust by the time you arrive. It's basically a combination of like dirt and sweat as you like drop yourselves out of your vehicles. It's a bone jarring journey. Shock absorbers aren't a thing. So it's unpleasant but safe.
Sorry, what time of year is it again?
It's October, so it's getting into summer.
Yeah, I've been out there at this time of year.
Yeah.
In real life.
But you can easily, the mining office is operational. They can send off a telegraph for you. There's one pub, but it does not have rooms to rent. Basically, people sleep in their vehicles or in a truck. And there is one general store, Wycroft's.
I'm sorry, where are we right now on this map?
You are in Concudgery. Just south of Dingo Falls.
Well, at least it's not dildo.
Did we see Dingo Falls on the way?
You passed by it. So yeah, you're looking at about 300 miles cross country to get to the Canning route, and then you're going to follow that north. But when you arrive, I mean, it's up to you if you guys want to do anything or whether you just want to like catch some rest, pick up some supplies in the morning, like canned foods and stuff, and then head out. Mackenzie's got most of what you need together.
Yeah, I don't have anything intelligent to do.
Yeah, and Miles, you would have noticed like when he's loading things on, he also loads on basically like there's the food, there's the water, there's the fuel for the trucks, spare parts, oil, all of that sort of thing. Spare tires, tarps, camping gear, a couple of extra rifles, like a case of ammunition,
First aid kits.
first aid kits. Like he definitely knows what he's doing. Also, a variety of tools like shovels and picks and that sort of thing. But assuming there is nothing in particular you guys want, and he's got enough stuff, unless there's something super specific that you want, he's probably packed it.
I don't think so.
I'm trusting him.
It's not like his wife and children died a while ago and he's gonna help us in the safari, eh?
That's right. And actually, Miles, give me either survival or a natural lore roll.
This is not my night.
Nope. Um, he's got a lot of supplies. You're pretty sure that not only is there enough supplies, but there is more than enough. You're not sure exactly how much. You don't know how much you want to like risk it, but it looks like a lot of supplies. The next morning, you guys finally set out into the desert. Um, so yeah, as you guys kind of leave Kankudgery behind you, uh, the heat is constant, the dust is constant. As soon as you get like over a rise or two, like any sign of civilization is long past. There's little to look at other than scrub and dust and rock, and more rock, and more rock. Every once in a while, you come across like ruts made by another car or truck going in a different direction. The desert is so dry that the tracks can literally stay visible for years. And somebody can roll me percentile dice. Actually, sorry, my bad. It is a luck roll.
Do you want me to re-roll that? Because I rolled the percentile.
No. That's fine.
I mean, if we're going with the lowest luck, mine's 17.
That is true. So the first day of travel is hot and gross, but you make pretty good time. When you bed down for the night, the first thing that you notice, since this is really the first time you've had the opportunity to pay attention to it, is it does get cooler at the night, but the constellations are weird. They don't look exactly like what you're used to. And then it dawns on you that it's because you're on the southern hemisphere. So the constellations just look different than they do in the northern hemisphere. And it is completely dominated by a constellation called the Southern Cross. The air is clear. The evening, like as the sun sets, it is beautiful and majestic. As it starts to get closer to the dusk, you can see smoke in the distance from distant fires. Probably traditional like Aboriginal hunting parties in the distance around. The first day though is fine, but now you know that you are well and truly alone. It's like you guys and Mackenzie, the occasional animals here and there
In the oven.
in the oven.
We're gonna spend a bit of time like staring at the sky. I'm fairly trained in astronomy, just to make sure that the sky is just strange because of the southern hemisphere, not because it's stranger.
Sure, make an astronomy roll.
Not that I'm paranoid, since our resident paranoid is not here right now. Might as well be for him.
Do you need me to roll your astronomy for you?
I think I managed.
Oh,
Foundry
excellent.
didn't want to roll, so
Oh, missed it by 19.
yeah, having doubts.
So yeah, so it's quiet, it's peaceful, it's serene almost. And you guys haven't felt this sort of isolation like ever. Like even when you were in the jungles of Kenya, you had like the military group with you and the sounds of the jungle. There's no such sounds here. You know, there's just like the crackle of your fire, the occasional like sound in the distance of an animal, but it's not that constant buzzing of insects and everything. It's somewhat disconcerting. Look at everybody give me a listen roll.
Oh, no. I don't think I want to hear whatever it is. Oh, no worries, I don't.
Evelyn, wake up! You gotta hear this.
Sleep. Tired.
All right. So Miles and
My
Gary.
eyes are cooking.
Yeah, your eyes feel dried out. Miles and Gary, as you guys are, you know, kind of like poking at the embers of the fire, you know, that kind of like lazy campfire type of thing when you're out in the woods, just kind of poking at the fire, and both of you hear what sounds like the wind. You don't feel a breeze, but you hear what sounds like the movement of wind, and it seems to pass over top of you, like above you.
Yeah, that was I was saying I'm gonna look up.
When you look up, give me a spot hidden roll.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up too.
Okay.
Those are nice shoes, but I'm gonna spend one luck.
Missed it by 1. Oh dear.
So yeah, so you hear this sound like the wind above you, and you look up, and Miles, you don't spot anything, but Gary, you don't see anything, but there's like a large portion of the sky, probably about the size of a train car, has like that kind of like heat distortion. Like you can still see the stars and everything, but they're just a little bit wavy and a little bit distorted. And whatever is distorting them is moving.
Are Mirage supposed to move? I ask out loud.
I mean, not exactly. I mean, they
Usually,
aren't real.
mirage are just the places where the desert is hotter, but that shouldn't be moving.
Oh, then it's probably not a mirage, I see.
Where? What?
And as you're watching Gary, it kind of like moves. Oh, like it's passing overhead. And as it does so, the sound of the wind passes with it. It starts to fade in the distance, and you can see that little shimmer, that little distortion disappearing out of sight. Whatever it was, it like moved overhead of you and
I wouldn't
disappeared.
if it was something.
If what was something.
Distortion in the air.
And it was moving.
It was moving and sound like wind. But I mean, was not like wind. It was the sound of
Wings.
no. It did sound like wind, but it was not feeling like wind. It
So the
was air
sound.
moving in the sky. I mean, that sounds absolutely ridiculous when I say it like that.
No, let's be careful tonight.
It was bigger than a bear.
Lovely.
Good thing we don't have cattle with us.
Maybe that's it. Maybe whatever it is just really likes beef.
An American cryptid. Just here for the burger.
But as you guys, bed down and go to sleep,
Who's gonna take the first watch?
Well, I can stay up.
but it is just you and the crackle of your fire and the sound of the dingoes in the distance, and every once in a while the sound of wind moving overhead. And I think we'll call it there. So you guys realize that you're well and truly alone.
Well, maybe not as long as I'd wish to.
But everybody can roll to recover luck points.
I mean, I never got luck. Never.
Nope.
Since we played together.
Holy cow.
Oh, Miles. From
Miles.
From 17 to 27.
Woo!
So, I was gonna say, no, I think you are still marginally the least lucky person in the party, but
I'm working on that.
you're getting there. It's all those 1 point at a time. All right, so we will see everybody next week. Now that you guys are in the desert, the serenity of the desert, I'm sure, will continue.
Everything's going fine.
Everything will continue to go fine.
I was so worried Miles was going to see something, or not Miles, but that Gary was going to see something terrible when he looked up.
I probably did.
Your brain is only registering the heat shimmer.
Yep.
It's completely ignoring the fire beastie that was inside.
Actually, folks can make Cthulhu Mythos rolls.
Oh, can we really? Oh, BOY.
Yeah, based off of like what Gary has told you.
Oh.
Damn you, Gary.
We need to make sure that Gary don't get any Cthulhu with us, or else we're fucked doing the ritual.
Right?
Oh, do I spend five luck to learn? No, I'm not.
Oh, Eugene, what the hell?
I don't know shit.
96.
Yeah, Miles could spend 5 luck if you wanted to succeed, or if you're just happy not knowing.
No, I'm happy.
Miles thinks really hard for a second and go like, you know what? Nope. Don't need to know that bad.
On a scale of 1 to Chris, I
Not
don't
today,
wanna know.
Cthulhu. Not today.
Not today. All right. So we will we'll see everybody next week.